But hey, nobody's ever heard of that before, right? What does that mean? That means I work with the energy in here. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here. That's what I work with. Okay? Because I understand energy. Everything is energy. Okay? Now, we always talk about the right and left hemispheres of the brain and what they do. So, the right hemisphere of the brain is responsible for your creativity. Okay, that's where you get your creativity from. That's where you get your intuition from, the right hemisphere of your brain. So there's only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Okay, now the conscious mind, the job of the conscious mind, is to think of things right away. Okay, but it commits to a certain thing. Okay, it fixates to a certain thought, like, okay, maybe I should wash the dishes. Okay, and then you wash the dishes, right? The subconscious doesn't prompt you to wash the dishes. The subconscious remembers how to wash the dishes. Okay, so the conscious mind makes the decisions, the conscious mind makes the commitments. The subconscious mind is where everything is stored. So let's say the decision is to mow the lawn. The subconscious remembers how to mow the lawn. Okay. Now, what does the superconscious do? Well, the superconscious will give you intuitive thought. While you're going about this memorized action of mowing the lawn, maybe the superconscious gives you an idea on, oh, how I could do this better, or how I could, how I could modify this, or how I could save time by doing it a certain way. Okay, and you get intuitive thought. Okay, or it could be maybe you shouldn't mow the lawn because there's going to be a storm, and then you kind of, look around the sky and stuff, and then you see, yeah, it's kind of cloudy. Okay, are these things coincidences or not? Well, here's the thing you have to keep in mind. Either everything in life is a coincidence, or everything is predetermined, okay, or things are predetermined, but you have the ability to change things or direct things. Okay. In other words, if you had a remote control car, okay, you have the ability to make it go where you want to. Okay. So you have the controls, in other words. Okay. Now, if everything was predetermined, everybody would figure it out, right? Kind of, sort of. Okay. But here's the thing, right? When you look at the subconscious, you go, oh, okay, so I do have the freedom of choice, right? I do have the freedom of choice, but I have all these things in my data bank, in my memory. Okay, so when you drive, and I use this example all the time, when you drive down the street, right, you get that feeling that you want to turn right, but you dismiss it because you can. Now, if you had no freedom of choice and you get that feeling that you should, make that right turn, you're going to make that right turn no matter what. And then you're like, oh boy, here comes a right turn, right? And you have no free will. So don't confuse this with moral judgments. Okay, moral judgments are how you feel about something. Okay, moral judgments come from your beliefs in the subconscious. But when you decline something like that, you get the feeling to turn right and you don't turn right, generally it's not a moral judgment unless it involves a situation. Okay? So this is just how it is and how you are and how you can take control or how you can set up your life or design your life. It's not about morals, it's not about right or wrong, because you can do wrong things. Good people do bad things all the time. Bad people do good things. I've known a lot of bad people that actually do good things to help people. Okay? If you're a bad person, it doesn't suggest that everything is bad. If you're a good person, it doesn't suggest that everything is good. Okay? It's that windshield wiper syndrome that I keep telling you, right? So good thought, bad thought, good thought, bad thought, thoughts become things. Okay? Good morning, guys. Good morning, Jay. So thoughts become things. How do thoughts become things? How do thoughts materialize into material things? Through your subconscious. Okay, first you think the thought. If you think the thought often enough, you will believe the thought. that means it has been committed to your subconscious. Now it's on autopilot. Why? Because it's a belief. The belief shapes your paradigm. Let's look at the tree. Okay, so the roots of the tree, your subconscious thoughts and beliefs, core beliefs. Okay, core beliefs like I believe the earth is round. Okay, that's a core belief. Okay, but anyway, so you have subconscious beliefs. Now your paradigm is shaped by your beliefs, your worldview, the way you see things, the way your attitude towards things, the way you understand things. So that's your paradigm. Now, your paradigm directly affects your actions, and your actions give you results. So, what kind of results are you getting? Well, it's easy to see. Just look around you. Look around you. Okay? Now, I'm here to tell you that when you look at your results, okay, we're talking about the universal law of correspondence. Everything out here in your immediate vicinity is dictated by everything in here. Okay, if you're not organized here, you're not organized here. If your desk is messy, your house is messy, your car is messy, you're messy in here. Okay? So how do you remedy this? How do you fix this? You work from in here, okay? So you don't work from out here. You don't try to if you clean your house and organize out here, it's still going to get disorganized. Why? Because you didn't fix in here. Okay, if you get used to throwing things around your car and just, oh, never mind, pretty soon there's a lot of clutter in your car. Well, where is the clutter really? The clutter is really in here. And until you fix the clutter in here, you won't fix the clutter in your car. Why? Because it will keep happening because it's a subconscious program. Because that's the way you have learned to be in here. That's all. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It just is. It's the way it is. Okay, now if a messy car is a bad thing for you, then you can fix it. But you have to fix it in here first. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay? The subconscious stores your core beliefs, your emotional imprints. Emotional imprints, what is that? Well, if it's a really bad emotional imprint, it's trauma. If it's a really good emotional imprint, it's joy. If somebody, let's say somebody surprised you. Let's say you're a woman and on Valentine's Day you come home and there's flowers, balloons, rose petals on the bed. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Like presents, right? Okay, that's an emotional imprint in the positive. That's joy. Okay? If it's Valentine's Day and you come home and a cyclone ripped through your house and your house is in half and everything's strewn all over the place, that's trauma. Okay? Hopefully that never happens to you, okay? I'm just giving you an example. Okay? But these emotional imprints all go to your subconscious. You remember this. Think back to a time when it was the most special occasion for you. When was the time that you can remember that, was either a time of great appreciation, okay, a time of great joy when something happened and you went, wow. For me, it was like 16 years old was one of my favorite memories. I woke up Christmas morning and there was my bicycle right under the tree, or next to the tree actually. And that really stuck out because at the time there was nothing in my life that was greater than that. And when that happened, it was like, pow. It was like, okay, that's the same way trauma happens. The same exact way trauma happens. But the trauma is negative. Okay, the joy is positive. Okay, they're at two ends of the spectrum. So just know when you experience trauma, it's rooted in fear. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay, so if you're feeling fearful, or if something triggered fear or scared you, it's trauma. Can you ever get rid of trauma? Well, you can diminish trauma. Okay, but your subconscious remembers everything. Your subconscious is the book of life. You're not supposed to forget. Okay? If someone or something or makes a significant emotional imprint on your subconscious, you won't forget it. You'll be very, very old one day and you'll remember that traumatic experience. I can remember things from 4 years old that scared me. I can remember being 4 years old and afraid. It doesn't affect me now, right? Because, it didn't even affect me when I was a kid, but I remember it. So now, remembering something and allowing something to continually scare you or affect you is different. Two different things. You don't have to let it affect you, but you're not going to forget it because it's in your subconscious. Your subconscious also stores your identity. Who determines your identity? You do, okay? I am that, okay? How you see yourself, what you see yourself as, okay? I am the, in my case, I am the mindset coach. I am the, I was the singer. I was the entertainer. I am the consultant. I am, so everything I currently am, I've assigned to myself. You're not your body, you're not your name, you've been assigned a name. Who did that for you? Your parents. You were assigned a name. You're that energy that lives in here. You're that spirit that lives in here. Yesterday, it was really funny. Yesterday we were talking about judgment. Yesterday we were talking about discernment. And this guy pops into my stories because on some of my stories, like severe weather stories or volcano eruption and stuff like that, we use heavy metal for the soundtrack behind the stories. And so the guy said, well, you talk about God, but then in your stories, we go in your stories and then there's heavy metal, and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's done for effect, right? So what he's implying is that there's a contradiction between my beliefs or whatever, right? And I thought that was really funny because that just showed me how judgmental he is and how he labels things. Okay, a lot of people label things because they've been taught to label things. What did we talk about discernment, right? Don't label anything. Observe. When you get a negative circumstance, okay, you don't know it's completely negative, okay, until you step back, observe, and be patient. Because a lot of times what you think initially is a negative circumstance turns out to be positive. How is that? Just observe it. Observe it. When somebody comes off to you in a certain way, right? Instead of passing judgment, just look at it. Look, just pause and observe. A lot of times that person will adjust the situation for you, okay? If they come off a certain way, it could be they're excited. It could be, right? It could be they're trying to figure it out, okay? And this is why discernment is important. This is why observation is important. This is why becoming the observer is important. Because if you perceive something in the negative, glass half empty, the glass cannot get half full unless you achieve some sort of clarity in the matter, until you become clear, right? Because your initial perception is judgment. You judge something, you go, okay, this is that. But if you're patient, right? Sometimes the person that you're looking at or person you're interacting with will start to explain things or start to elaborate on things. And then you'll slowly see the perception go from negative to positive, glass half empty to glass half full. Okay, how many times has that happened to you? Where you have a situation, you just come upon the situation and it looks negative, right? And then with a little patience, you go, oh, okay, I guess it wasn't what I thought. And it starts changing in front of you. Okay, that's perception. There's a good and bad side to everything. And if you're patient and if you look for the positive side or the good side or the not as bad side, maybe sometimes, You'll find it because it will expose itself to you. It will show itself to you. And when it shows you, good morning, Darlene. When it shows itself to you, you go, oh, okay. Too many times we rush to judgment. Too many times we go, okay, this is that. Before we explore it, before we have patience with it, before we even understand it, we'll judge it right away. Now, the smart person, okay, or the spiritually savvy person will look at it and go, I wonder what that is. What is this really? Okay? Why? Because you're not reacting. You're not reacting. If you live a reactionary life, guess what? That reaction sets up the next action. That's why people say, it's about how you react to things, right? So when there's a problem, instead of reacting to it, okay, like spur of the moment reactive, knee jerk reaction kind of thing, instead of that, just step back for a second, take a look at it. Okay. Now, if you've seen the pattern over and over, that's different, right? You know what it is. If you've seen it over and over, you've seen it play out over and over, right? And I think that's where a lot of people lose their patience. When they see something happen, then they see the same person do it again, do it again, do it again. Guess what? Number one, it's in their subconscious. They can't help it. They are prone to that action. So it makes absolutely no sense for you to play into that and keep reinforcing that. Okay? So in that case, right, you want to be the observer. You want to let it play out. Because you don't want to, right, engage. You don't want to engage with that behavior or with that repetitive pattern. The worst thing is to get involved with somebody else's drama over and over and over and over. Now, if you know somebody that's prone to drama, they're just prone to living a reactionary life. Okay, so they're just in the habit of being reactive to things. They just react to things. Thank you, guys. They just react to things. So, it's counterproductive to join someone in their reactionary behavior. If you love that person, okay, because we all have people we love, right? Family members, like whatever, right? Family members that react to things. But we don't have to be like them, okay? We love them, right? Those friends that we have that we love the mess that they are, right? And they're not really like we would be or like we want them to be or whatever. It's not that we want to control them or anything, but I'm just saying, like, oh, I wish so-and-so had a better life, right? Because you see them reacting and you see them bringing drama into their lives over and over and over and over. And you really wish that they could see it because you see it. It's easy to see someone else's, flaws or character flaws or problems, right? But when you get caught up in it, it's not as easy to see. It's not as easy to pull yourself outside the box and look back into the box. It's not that easy. Sometimes you just get sucked into stuff, right? And before you know it, right, because you've engaged, right? Energetically, you've engaged. Okay? And before you know it, you're in this drama or you're in this whatever issue. But it's easy for us to see other people in issues. It's easy for us to look at other people and go, oh man, that's terrible. They're not aware that they keep getting sucked into things over and over and over. They're not aware that their subconscious has memorized this pattern and now plays it out over and over with different things. Okay? Same reactions, different things, different issues, different circumstances, but the same thing. You can see it on social media. You can see people striking out at people, the same people. And then you see them striking out at this, striking out at... Now, sometimes it's funny, right? Sometimes it's funny because, they're saying funny stuff as they're doing it or whatever. But then you observe the personality traits, you observe the character flaws, and you go, oh, wow, poor thing. and you feel sorry for them. So remember, whenever you encounter a family member, a friend, people you love, and you see this happening with them, you can't really point it out. You can't sit down and go, okay, you know what's happening? Your subconscious has memorized these actions, and you're committing them over and over and over. It's very difficult to do that. But it's not very difficult to become the observer. It's not very difficult to remove yourself or prevent yourself from being sucked into that situation. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay? It removes you from that, especially meditation. Okay, now I'm talking about stillness. I'm not talking about, chanting words that you don't understand. I'm talking about being still. When you separate yourself from things, your awareness gets enhanced and you start to look in on things and understand them for what they are. When you're aware, when your awareness, so we always give the visual like this, right? When you're aware, everybody's aware, okay? Everybody's aware. That's the one thing we all have in common, awareness, okay? Everybody's aware. But when you're under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, awareness looks like this. This is just a visual example, okay? When the stress goes away, when you take off the stress, when you take off the overthinking, the anxiety, all of that, awareness starts to flourish. It starts to grow, okay? When you are in this state of awareness, this, a lot, okay? It's easy to be the observer. It's easy not to engage. It's easy to observe. But when you're under pressure, when you're suffering anxiety, fear, right? All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. When that's going on, you're aware, the last thing you're thinking of is observing, right? So what do? You start reacting, you start participating, you start engaging. And then what? Depending on what you engage with, you could get dragged into it. You could get dragged down. You know how people drain you? You know how you get those people that you're just listening to them. And you're feeling the weight of what they're saying. It's weighing on your awareness. You know how they talk about Debbie Downers, right? Because you're listening to them, they're saying a whole bunch of stuff, worry, fear, anger, whatever, all of those things, the negative emotions. And it begins to weigh you down. Why? Because you can empathize with it. Whether you're aware of it or not, you can relate to things that they're saying. And what happens? It makes you feel bad. Why? Because you start thinking about it. With the thought, the emotion follows. First, you think the thought. So somebody's saying something, right? They're angry about something. You start thinking about what they're saying because you're listening to them. Then the emotion hits you. Then the emotion goes over you. Now what has happened? Now you're in that lower vibration. But you have a choice. When you're listening to someone, when they're giving you a bunch of negative things or angry things or whatever it is, frustrated things, anxiety, whatever it is, whatever negative emotion it is, in your head you can say stop. Not to them, to the thought, so that you don't energetically join. Okay, we all join in energy. Everything is a transaction. Everything is an energetic transaction. If you don't stop the energy, what happens? You think the thought. You think the thought, the emotion follows. The emotion follows, you experience the emotion. Or you suffer the emotion. Sometimes it's a good thing. They're saying something good. You get the thought about a good thing, or they went to Disneyland, or whatever they did, right? And you go, wow, that's cool. And what happens? You start to feel good. Why? Because you're thinking the good thought. You're identifying with what they're talking about. And now you're feeling good. Why? Because they made you feel good. They were talking about good stuff. This doesn't mean that you don't listen to somebody's problems. Okay? But there's a way to protect yourself as you're listening. Okay? There's a way to remove yourself from the situation, to be empathetic, to be sympathetic, but not energetically join. Okay? You have to be consciously aware. And when you're consciously aware and you use discernment, now you can make the choice. Because you have to guard what's in here. This is the kingdom. Okay? Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. So you have to protect the kingdom. You have to defend the kingdom. That doesn't mean you strike out at people. That means you let them talk. Let them have their say. But if they're, going to drag you down or giving you thoughts, just say stop. Say stop to the thoughts because they bring the emotion. Then what are you left with? You're left with being the observer. You observe it like you're watching a movie, but without the feeling, without the energetic engagement. Okay, because when you engage, you join. You ever been around somebody and they're talking about being sick? They talk about, oh, this happened and that happened. Oh, so and so and this, and they give you all the little details. Okay, now, poor thing, we want to sympathize and empathize with that, but we don't want to identify with that. Subconsciously, if you identify with that, okay, because your subconscious stores your identity, it stores yours and whatever it is you're identifying with. So you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here, okay? But when you identify with things, what happens? You energetically join with it. Oh yeah, I know. I had a cold the other day. I know how that feels. Yeah. Okay, now you're thinking about the cold. Now you're putting your mind into the cold, okay? As if you were sick again because you're experiencing it again, if that makes any sense. And this is why when you take problems from yesterday and you wake up today, you think about the same problems, now you've moved yesterday into today. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this all the time. Then you move it into tomorrow and then the next day. And guess what happens? Your subconscious memorizes these patterns and you live the same life over and over and over and over and over. And one day you run out of time and you're dead. Now you've lived your entire life on subconscious fear, subconscious anxiety, subconscious whatever it is that's getting you down. Does it happen to me? Yeah, it happens to me. That's why I have to do this. That's why I have to do this. Okay? So these are affirmations. Okay? This is not journaling. These are affirmations. Okay? I'm not just here talking about stuff. I do this stuff. This has been responsible for whatever I've done since 2007. If you want a list of what I've done, just put my name in any browser. It's all there. Okay? I'm not here to flex. I'm here to say you can do it too. I'm saying here's the antidote. Here's how to help yourself. If you don't want to take medicine, because that's the only other, it's the only other thing out there, right? There's holistic things out there, right? And then there's medical things out there, scientific things out there. So if you go to a doctor and you say, well, I'm feeling anxiety, I'm worried all the time, they go, okay, here, take some of this. But it's not treating the source. It's treating the symptom. The source could be you're thinking thoughts about a certain thing that's making you anxious. And then your subconscious is playing this back. So now you have a habit of being anxious. And now you have a habit of thinking bad thoughts. You can get in the habit of thinking bad thoughts. Your subconscious does that. It's called being fearful. Someone who is fearful keeps experiencing thoughts of negative things that are rooted in fear. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. So you can help yourself. Now, some people have an honest medical situation on their hands, okay? I'm not dismissing the medical community, okay? The medical industrial complex. I'm not dismissing them. I'm not diminishing what they do, okay? Everybody takes medicine. I take medicine. Okay, I take aspirin when I need it. I take, so I'm not saying that this is not necessary. I'm saying you can help yourself. I'm saying you can calm yourself in the moment. I'm saying that when you do affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization on any one thing, it has to happen. And mostly I'm talking about goals. But if you're suffering from anxiety, if you're suffering fear, guilt, shame, all those negative emotions, you can work on it as well. You can work on it yourself. I've been dealing with people with this for 37 years. I've been doing subconscious training since 2010. What happens with my military people, their PTSD, it gets diminished. They have the switch. When I say the switch, I mean control. So they go in the shopping center, there's a lot of people, they start freaking out, they have the switch. Okay, they start doing their breathing exercise. All of a sudden, oh, okay, it's passing. Because you have to let it pass. You have to remove yourself from the situation and become the observer. So think about this. You're observing yourself right now thinking, listening to me. Okay? Maybe forming an opinion about what I'm saying. So if you're observing yourself thinking the thought, and then maybe you get a feeling about it, depending on how you're thinking about it, now you observe yourself having the feeling. Who's doing the observing? You see? Okay, animals only have that one experience like this. That's it. They cannot observe themselves in motion. So this is part of the problem. We can evaluate what we do in real time. We can critique what we do in real time. And who is the hardest on us? Ourselves. Do we pass judgment on ourselves? Yeah, every day. Every day. But they're little tiny bits of judgment. Okay? Do you do things that you don't like? Yeah. What happens when you do that? You start holding it against yourself. What's the result of that? Lower self-esteem, lower self-confidence, not believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you can't believe in anyone else. I see so many religious people that don't believe in themselves. And I'm like, how can you possibly believe in your higher power, in God, when you don't believe in yourself? But you've taken your belief and you've assigned it up there or out there. There is no out there. God lives in here. And you can tell by the way people talk how they believe. And like I said, the universal law of correspondence tells you, it shows you who people are. Because how you are in here is how you are over here. Okay. If you're dressed in, t-shirt and shorts at an event where you should be in a collared shirt and trousers, okay, it's how you are in here. Okay? I'm just saying, everything is relative. Okay? Everything is relative to the situation. But if your desk is messy, or if you see someone with a messy desk, they're messy in here. Okay? That's what's really going on. So what's really important, what's really, really important, okay, is that you work on things from in here. That's all. Work on things from in here. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Meditation, so affirmations. Okay, I am so happy. Where's my pen? Here we go. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Why confidence? Because confidence is that inner chill feeling. Okay, that inner relaxation that you need. That inner relaxation, okay, will start to allow you to pull yourself out of the box and look back into the box. And when you can do that, life changes. Life begins to change. Why does life begin to change? Because now you can observe. Okay, now you don't have to be reactionary. Now you can observe and pick and choose. What do I want to engage with? Do I want to be a part of this? Not really. Okay, let it go. Do I want to be a part of this? Not really. Let it go. Now you have self-control. Now you are controlling yourself. Because if something sucks you into something, if somebody's, gets you in an argument, or if somebody sucks you into something where they need your opinion, or what do you think about this? I think this is blah, 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 like that. And then you join, and all of a sudden you're a part of that energy, you're a part of that vibration. Yeah, you caused it by joining, but now you're experiencing that. Do you really want to experience that? It will affect your mood. Your mood affects your vibration. Your vibration dictates what comes next. What comes next in your life? Your vibration dictates what wavelength you're on, in other words. And we're not talking about scientific resonance vibration. We're talking about mood vibration. When you are in a high vibration, or let's say a very good emotional state, you attract good things. When you're angry, you don't attract good things. When you're happy, you attract good things. The name of the game is, how long can I stay happy, right? But happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice. You have to choose to be happy. I made up my mind, I'm going to be happy today. Okay? Maybe that means ignoring some of the negatives. I think negative and positive is overused. I think it's, I'm going to be positive today. I'm going to be positive today. And then they get sucked into negativity. Why? Because they can't resist. Okay? They cannot resist the opposing energy. When someone else is angry and you're happy and you get sucked into the, maybe you're being empathetic, you're trying to identify with them, and they're telling you negative things and you get sucked into it. Now what? Now you feel negative? You are negative when you feel negative. The Indian philosopher Shanakwa said, your feelings are your God. I'm not saying your feelings are God. I'm just saying he said that. But what he was talking about was your feelings dictate what's next. The way you feel about things dictates your mood. Your mood dictates what's next. So your subconscious is responsible for all of this. 90 to 95% of your behavior is subconscious. So you can change your behavior. If you don't change your behavior, guess what? You get the same results over and over. I worked in very toxic work environments, one for 15 years. 15 years. And I had to go back to my office every day and lean back in my chair. Thank God I had a comfortable chair. I used to lean back in my chair, close my eyes, and meditate just to throw off the negative vibes, the negative energy. Negative energy cannot affect you if you don't let it. It's not like you're a victim and, this negative energy just attacked me. And I mean, that does happen. That does happen. But you can protect yourself from it simply by the way you think. Simply by not joining, by not engaging, by not allowing your mind, okay, this is about you, it's not about anybody else. Your mind, by not allowing your mind to participate. Because when you participate, that's when you have problems. When you join, okay? So if somebody's arguing with you, right, it takes two sides, okay? So to describe or to illustrate the laws of power, I talk about the tennis player with my clients. So my clients are what I call high-powered professionals. They're responsible for a lot of people. They're leaders and that kind of thing. But when we talk about the tennis match, The person, this one, I'll put this higher than this one. Okay, so this one's serving. The ball goes in the court. It's in the court. It hits in the court and then bounces out. This person just stands there. This guy scored a point. Who controls the game? This guy. Why? Because he didn't react, and therefore there is no game. He controls the game. Not this guy. He scored a point, you know? So somebody can score a point on you, figuratively, okay, metaphorically. Someone can score a point on you, but you can control things. You can control things by abstaining from engagement. Because when you engage, you join. When you abstain, you retain your power. Power is only good when you don't use it. Have you ever seen somebody lose it? Right? We say they lost it. You know why? Because they throw out all their energy. Okay? You're a spirit in here. Okay? When you throw out all your energy, when you yell, you get mad, you lose it, right? Bam! Throw it out. Yell. Scream. Whatever. You start to shake like this. Why? Because you've thrown your spirit out. You've thrown your energy out. Now you have to recover. Okay? And it takes a couple of seconds, right? A few seconds, whatever, sometimes a minute, to calm down. And when that happens, we say, so-and-so lost it. Oh, you should have seen Bob. He lost it. Okay? But when you retain your energy, or let's say it another way, when you control yourself, or when you become the observer, then you don't engage. When you don't engage, you don't get tempted to lose it. If you're at that point where you're beginning to lose it over and over and over, then you need to look into affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay, so affirmation, we did that. What does meditation look like? Sitting still for 10 minutes. It sounds easy. It sounds easy, okay? But if you're used to stimulus, okay, the way we live, okay, the way we live, right, like this, stimulating all day long, okay, dopamine hits, adrenaline hits, all that stuff, it's very difficult to sit still. So use this one to your advantage, okay? Because you can use a gun, right, to bring home food, to catch food, right, to hunt, or you can use a gun for bad purposes, right? Same thing with this one, okay? I use this one to make money. You can use this one to make money. You can use this one to help you. I use this one to help me. Okay, this one plays meditation music too. Okay, this one has a timer. So set your timer. Set your timer for 10 minutes and then tell yourself you're not going to move until the chimes go off. And make chimes. Do chimes. Because chimes will wake you up out of your meditation gently. You don't want to be shocked out of your meditation. That's not good for you. Okay, everybody's getting numb, right? Because we see all kinds of stuff. Nobody gets fazed by anything anymore, right? We've seen it all online, right? Okay? So you need to be resensitized. And the only way you get resensitized is to allow those breaks. Take those breaks. Go into the kingdom and experience what it's like to be still. Okay, because that's when you hear, or that's when you feel your instructions. What am I talking about? Your intuition. Your intuition. You know when you get that, you know that feeling, right? I should turn right here, and then you ignore, and then you get stuck in the traffic jam. You go, I knew I should have, right? Because you did know. You did. If you trust that feeling more and more, okay? Whenever you get that feeling, just do it. Whatever it is. Okay, you're going to find that you had the right feeling. You're going to find that you made the right decision. But you need to trust yourself. If you don't trust that feeling, you're not trusting yourself. Yourself is your spirit here, in here. Okay? There's a separation between the body and the spirit, and that's not a religious thing, that's a fact. There's 8 billion of us on the planet. No two are exactly alike. No two are the same. Everyone is an individual. 8 billion? How does that happen, right? That in itself is a miracle. You want to see a real miracle? Go in your bathroom, turn on the light, look in the mirror. There's your miracle. Because everything is in here. Everything exists in here. The subconscious doesn't respond to words, okay, but it responds to feelings and emotional states. And then it gives you confirmation. And then the superconscious, working with the subconscious, opens the right doors when you take the steps towards whatever it is your goal is. It opens the doors and brings the right people into play. This has nothing to do with, right or wrong or whatever. This is your spirit. This is your energy. If you want to do something wrong, go ahead. The subconscious will learn wrong and you'll start doing wrong things. Okay? Your subconscious learns to be evil. Your subconscious learns to be good. You make the choice. It's up to you. I'm not here to say be good or be evil or anything. I'm here to explain how it works. But when you get these results of yours and they're not the desired results, at least you should know why. And you should also know that when you take these steps and use these 4 pillars, results change. And you can have lasting results because developing good habits is just as easy as bad habits. If you put my name into any browser, into any AI, and put teaching method after it, you don't even have to write to me with questions. It's all there. It will explain in detail what to do. A lot of young people ask me, Uncle, how did you do this? How did you do that? How did you accomplish this? How did you do that? And I have to tell them, it's all in your mind. It's the way you think. It's how you apply yourself. Knowledge is nothing. Knowledge is nothing. You can fill your head. I work with people with a lot of knowledge, but they need to hire me. Okay? It's not about knowledge, it's about the application of knowledge. The application of knowledge is power. Now, knowledge in itself is nothing because you can store up knowledge up here all your whole life if you don't use any of it, right? If you don't use any of it, then what good is it? I talk to people all the time and they go, oh yeah, I know, I heard that before. Well, you've heard it, but you don't use it. You don't apply it. Therefore, it doesn't work. It's not enough to know things. With knowledge comes responsibility. But within that responsibility is some sort of application. Knowledge will just sit there. It's like having the best computer in the world. You have the most RAM, you have the biggest hard drive, right? You have the best programs, but you're just using it for a calendar. Or you're just using it to, go on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, watch movies. You're not using it for its full potential. And you don't have to do full potential to change your life. Okay, this is the 50 percentile. I always talk about this, okay? So this is the positive over here on this side, and this is the negative on this side. Okay? Positive, negative. Okay? All you have to do is push this over here to 51% positive. 51% good. That's 1%. How do you make a 1% difference? Right? It's not a lot of effort. A lot of people think you need to work hard. You need to work hard. In order to be successful, you need to push this thing over here to 90%. That's almost impossible. We're human beings. "51%. Start there. Start with 1%. Like everything in life, everything starts small and then you grow it. Your subconscious activity, okay, starts small until you activate it, right? And you start using it, you start writing affirmations. I've been doing it since 2007. It took me about a year for everything to go like this. And then when I write about it, it comes faster. Now when I write affirmations, like 2 weeks, boom, it's here. Gratitude is also very important. Give gratitude all the time. Okay, when you give gratitude, life changes. You don't have to assign gratitude. You don't have to say, thank you, Jesus, or thank you, Allah, or thank you, God, or thank you. You don't have to assign gratitude. Okay, you can. I say Father God, but that's just me. I'm not here to tell you how to believe or what to believe. Okay, but that's what I say. But you don't have to assign it. You're going to find out that when you're in meditation, when you're in that expansive state of awareness, when you assign your gratitude to someone or something or an entity or a divinity, you're going to feel a little bit of weight there. And when you don't assign it, you're going to, it's hard to describe the feeling. It's hard to describe the feeling, but there's an expansiveness to it. And there's a freedom to it when you don't assign it. Because when you assign something, you're saying this is that, or I am that, right? Or I am this, I am that, this is that, this is this. And you're putting labels on it. You're labeling things. You don't have to do that with gratitude. Just say thank you. I have this gratitude practice that I do where I drive down the street, I turn off my stereo, and I'm looking at things and just saying thank you. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for this experience. Thank you for the children. Thank you for the people. Thank you for the dogs. Thank you for the parks. That whatever I'm passing. Thank you for the car dealership. Whatever it is. Whatever I happen to be driving by. But it's really important. Gratitude is very important. Rhonda Byrne calls it the great multiplier. I agree. It multiplies what you have. When you're happy with what you have, when you're content with what you have, when you're appreciative of what you have, grateful for what you have, when you express gratitude, okay, it's not just thinking gratitude, express it. Express it out loud. There's a vibration to gratitude. Gratitude can make you happy. If you have trouble meditating, you have trouble sitting still for 10 minutes, just say thank you over and over in your head. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're going to feel that the pressure that you feel to get up and go wash dishes or to get up and do something because you think you're wasting time, you're going to feel that dissolve. It's going to dissolve when you say thank you. When you have thoughts of worry, when you're worried about something, that's like praying for something bad to happen. Okay? Say thank you. The more you say thank you, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel it go away. You're going to feel the anxiety go away. The more you say thank you. The more you're grateful, the better life gets. It works like that. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. I just know that when I do it, it happens. The how is always God's job. If you don't believe in God, then there's only the conscious and subconscious. But the subconscious is the book of life. Everything is stored in the subconscious. All of your memories, all of your traumas, all of your joy, okay, on both sides. All of it. Prayer is important. Meditation is important. Gratitude is important. Empathy is important. Kindness is important. Generosity is important. Be generous with your time if you don't have money. You know, a lot of us don't have money. We're busy working, or we're supporting a family, or we're doing whatever we're doing. So when money is not available, people tell me all the time, why I don't have much money to give. It's not only about money. It's about you. It's about your life. When you give your time, you're giving your life. So give some of your time. Give some of your life. Donate, donate some of your life to humanity, to making society better, to making humanity better. Donate part of your life to making people better. In other words, I see this happen all the time. I see the older people, right? They're teaching the young people how to sew fish nets, how to farm, how to fish, how to do these things. That's so important. It's very, very important. Yeah, technology is good. Yeah, video games are good. Everything has its place. If you're a good video gamer and you're teaching your grandson how to play video games or be good at video games, perfect. There you go. You're contributing. Okay? But whatever it is you're good at, pass it down. Don't die with the secrets in you. There's an old expression. It says, don't die. It's about musicians. It says, don't die with the music in you. So don't die with your skills in you. Don't die with the secrets in you. There's two kinds of people, to me. The first kind is the person who climbs the ladder and becomes a success. Or let's say it another way, gets what they want in life. And then they kick the ladder out from under them and they die with the secrets, And then there's the other kind of person who climbs the ladder, and when he finds the openings, when he finds the secrets, when he finds the ways, he goes, hey guys, and he starts pulling people up the ladder. When I used to talk about my kids on the radio, I used to bring my kids, I used to push my kids, get them out there, get them playing music, get them to have experience. And the guys who were in the power positions used to tell me, why are you doing that? This is about you. And I was like, no, they're my kids. It's about my kids. I call them my kids. They're my students. I said, no, it's about my kids. And I pushed them ahead. Why? Because nobody did it for me. Okay? Very few people took their time for me. But the people that took their time for me were very significant. Some of them had too big a reputation to do anything else but answer questions. But that was good enough. Some of them were too busy. That's understandable. But taking your time for somebody is so important. Giving your time to somebody is so important. Lifting the children up, the kids, so that they can experience. Not just so that they have the experience. That's just a small part of it. But so they know it's possible for them. So that they know that one day, when they try to go after something, it's attainable. That's the big lesson. So give of your time, give of your life, and you will be rewarded because God is real. All right, it's 8 o'clock and I'm getting the see you tomorrow. Hey, Darlene, you're very welcome, Darlene. You're very welcome, Darlene. Don't forget to help the kids. Okay, turn around and help somebody below you. Help somebody younger than you. Okay, so anyway, yeah, we're here every morning from 7 a.m. We're on seven different channels, 7 different streaming applications, platforms, all of that. Yeah, so we'll say goodbye to our Streamlabs people. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Lots of love and aloha from Hawaii. And yeah, check it out. Oh, if you want the website, I'm not here to sell you anything, but if you want the website, it's hereforyoulifecoaching.com. You can reach me at junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. I will answer your emails and your questions, but please give me a couple days, okay? Because I get a lot of emails. So